Shut up and sit down.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what's up, guys. What's up? I'm trying not even. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Bias Effect podcast. I'm your co-host QJ.
And I'm your co-host, Nikki. And today we're doing our fun terminology episode. There is a lot of jargon in K-pop, so we figured it's the best someone could just go to this podcast and hopefully have a good understanding of the different jargon within the community.
We threw around a few terms in the first episode also, but hopefully context, people were able to follow along. Obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you also like K-pop, so you hopefully know some of the general terms. But we thought it would be good. Let's go through some of the terms we've learned. We've also been picking up on a few little Korean words here and there.
I've been delving deep into the Korean dramas now too, so yeah, picking up on a lot of the different words, and it's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
All coming together. But so the name of the podcast is kind of one of the biggest terms I feel like that every K-popper knows about, but
Is K-popper a term?
I mean, it is now. It is here. That is what we're doing.
We're coining that.
Yeah.
If it's already coined, forget I said that. But if it's not coined, TM.
Yeah, well, so the first one is the bias. The bias, it's actually kind of in the term. Like, a bias that you have in life is something that you will always favor. You will look the other way. Even if there's wrongdoing. That is your favorite group member. No matter what they do, you're like, well, it's fine. That's fine.
We love it. We love a bias. And there's obviously a couple of terms looped in with that. Bias wrecker, your second favorite, ultimate bias, or ult, which is like your favorite from literally every group that you know.
Every group. And they hit hard. That you know when it's an ult. Like, there's
Changes your life.
changed my life.
Changed my life.
Definitely changed. You're we talked about it briefly on the last episode, but you're in an ult awakening right now. You're going through it. It's a weird. Okay.
Speak on that.
I will speak on this. It's not just K-pop, but there is a fandom culture. Now, anyone that's a part of this, anime has it. Like, of course, we didn't realize at the time, but we have so many anime biases.
Oh boy.
Attack on
That's a different
Titan.
podcast.
Yeah, but I just want to say, we didn't know the term, but like Attack on Titan, we both agree on our bias. It's Levi, of course. Okay, and I'm just gonna say here, I'm gonna hot take. Anyone that says Aaron's their bias, I don't like you. I'm sorry.
You're whack. You're actually whack. Like, we can't get into that, but
maybe bonus episode one day.
yeah. We'll talk about anime. Yeah, anime bonus episode.
Anime biases.
If anyone's interested.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments down below. Anyway.
I mean, we've lived our lives
in fan culture.
with a bias concept.
Yeah, in not knowing.
But it didn't have a name.
Well, that's exactly the thing, right? I personally find it fascinating psychologically, because I really would love to do more research on parasocial, because it taps into some part of your brain. Because I think anyone you talk to that has like a true bias, or with any group they're a part of, it even goes into sports. Like, you could see it with people that love the certain player.
Your sports bias.
My sports bias. It's there. But there's something that taps into it, and I don't understand it. But when you're going through it, it feels so real.
Oh yeah.
So real. You feel crazy. You feel like this. How can this be real? How can I be feeling like I feel in love with this person? It feels insane. Anyone will say that. It kind of goes into the other term, delulu. Now I know Gen Zers have kind of coined that term for other things, but it actually did start in K-pop. At least some of the research I've done is that it early 2014, I think, because that's how it feels. You feel so delusional.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side of the delusional. People don't know they're delusional, and that's kind of the sad side of the fandom.
Yeah.
At least I'm
I know I'm being delusional. I know I'm being insane. Every time I see a Yoongi thirst trap, I know that I'm being insane.
I know. I'm
when I'm laying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking wow, what's he doing right now?
I mean,
I'm being insane.
Exactly. We all know this. Anyone that's listening that should understand that. And if you think that sounds crazy, well then fine. This isn't for you then. That's totally
You just
fine.
haven't found your guy yet. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, it's true. You haven't found an L. You haven't found an L or girl
Or girl.
whatever, guy or girl or
They, them,
them,
he, she.
anything. You haven't found it
Because you'll know.
Yeah, you'll know.
You'll know.
It'll hit you like a truck. But I don't know. I have a friend that I've tried to explain fandom, and they just don't get it. Like they're just like, my brain doesn't really work like that. And I go, oh, that's interesting. So like, it is something.
Yeah, I for sure have met people that are just like casual fans
like,
of things.
how? Yeah.
What do you mean casual?
Yeah,
Like I was trying to think earlier too, like like we kind of talked about this, how like this love of K-pop is hitting like so hard. I was trying to think like
I know.
when was the last time I felt this way? And like we've been into fandom things before, like we are like super hula girlies. That's just true. But like I wasn't into it this way.
Yeah.
Like I was just a fan. I did buy like a lot of Doctor Who merch, obviously. But like I wasn't into it like this. And like we were Rooster Teeth fans, like we don't have to get into all that,
Yeah.
but like I wasn't into those things in this level. The last time I was into something like this was Harry Potter, 100%, which was like a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Okay, well, I age myself, but a long time ago.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But when I was into that, I was like, I'm watching interviews, I'm watching movie
yeah.
commentary, I'm cutting pictures out of magazines. Like I was going crazy over it.
Well,
I've done that since then until now. I literally was just cutting pictures out of a magazine last week. Like,
well, yeah, that's actually a funny story, but yeah, we at the very beginning of our Stray Kids adventure, we had Rolling Stone came out.
Rolling Stone drop.
So we were like, we have to buy this, and I scrolled.
Haven't bought a magazine in
years. Yeah. Well, I mean, I have, but like not like a music magazine, let's say, but.
Yeah.
I was going all over the stores here where we were, and I was like, I can't find anything. Anyway, so we actually bought it from Rolling Stone. Long story short, it was a nightmare. We didn't get them, and then all of a sudden we messaged them. We got a new one. I only got one, but you got two. So
your girl got two.
She got the bonus. I didn't, but whatever. We ordered them at the exact same time.
So I cut my bonus. Cut it straight up. Cut all the Stray Kids pictures out.
You were way back into your like youth again.
Yeah, like for real. Like I literally think about it sometimes. I'm like, I can't believe like how crazy this is.
No, it's again, that's the other side to me of fan culture. You really feel a part of something. Like I feel a part of this, and I feel understood on a level. Again, I know it's like delulu, quote unquote. I don't like the term crazy, but some people might call it that. But that's it. But you can see it. Like there's so many people that feel the same way, and you go, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah, I do think that that's kind of the thing. Like when I was into Harry Potter, it was a phenomenon at the time. So like obviously it was like a thing. This now that has that same feeling because like the community's so massive. There's so much content like everywhere all the time. So like I agree. Like I think that's like kind of what adds to like making it feel so much more intense and like being so much more into it than just being like, yeah, I like Stray Kids.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I just like or I like Marvel movies or whatever. Like which I do. I like Marvel movies, but it like hit, like you say, it hits different. It's like, oh, I'm into this. You just don't see that fan base like this anymore.
Yeah.
And I was thinking back to like as a teenager getting into music and stuff, and it wasn't like this.
No, I was thinking that too because I was like, I'm obviously like a big Blink-182 fan, but like not like this. Not like this. I mean, I have been to like several of their shows, but like I don't know, it was like it was normal.
Yeah.
It was normal.
Yeah, it was like us growing up was like that. If you were into music, that's what you did. You went to, sure, might age ourselves, but we didn't grow up with the internet. So like in order to like see
true
bands, you had to go see them, or music videos were big, on TV. And so that was more of the culture. You had to go see them. Now you have so much content online, but I do not know what I'm going to do. We're lucky enough to go see Stray Kids in the summer. I don't know how I'm going to react. Like
oh god, I'm gonna cry so much for like 3 straight hours. It's just gonna be crying.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. We saw MCR about a couple years ago now.
Yeah.
And that experience was overwhelming for me. Like it was like the whole crowd was so into it, right?
Yeah.
Again, whatever. That's a whole other episode. And we could also talk deeper about the fandom and like what that culture is in another episode. But oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
The other thing too is like the music videos,
Yeah.
like thinking back to your childhood or like when we were younger, like that's how we got content from bands and music was like through Much Music, MTV, whatever. And like, you know, you also don't get music videos these days anymore, but these folks out here
Girl.
are dropping MVs.
Girl. MV. I didn't know for the longest time. But yeah, music video guys. MV.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But they're dropping videos,
No, it's
okay?
that's
Like high quality, insane production.
yeah, I think maybe for our generation of people, that is also why K-pop is unbelievable to me. Yeah, you look at these music videos, you go, oh my god, this brings me back to when I was a kid, seeing music, whatever, for the first time, and you're like, oh my god, this is so cool, and now this is what's happening. And me, I'm a dance girly. I love dancing, and I love choreographed dances. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm in a whole world of like, and again, like you said, there's so much content. We've only scratched like what 1% of like
yeah,
the
barely
bands, like 0.5% or whatever of the bands out there. I'm excited. That's what I'm saying. It's so exciting. There's just so much.
Yeah.
But back to the group dynamic though, there is like their own terms within a group. So we have like a leader, pretty obvious. It usually, not always, is the oldest member of the group.
You know, I'm noticing a lot that it's not.
Really?
Like a lot of the groups, it's like the second or third.
So it's not. So it's just,
I don't know.
It's just
like,
Stray Kids, probably.
I mean, I think like early days, maybe it was more like not strict, but like more like regimented of oldest and whatever. But like
even BTS.
A lot of the groups that I'm looking at, BTS and technically ATs.
Yeah. By a few
even
months.
though they're the same year, but yeah. But I don't know, just like some groups I'm seeing now, I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. But it's like they seem to like vote on who they think would lead the group best.
Yeah.
Which respect.
But
you gotta pick the right guy for the job.
It's true. But the one thing then on the other side, there's the maknae. Now that is always the youngest member.
Yeah.
That's
I think it means literally means youngest.
Yeah. So, and it seems to be like a very honored role too. Like it's
I think people just love their babies.
Yeah. It's true. There's
like when you see them interact with a baby, they're just like, oh, you're so cute, squishy.
Which is so funny because some of the groups, like the difference between the maknae and the next youngest is like 3 months, and they're still like, oh, to like
they're still like, it's you.
Yeah, like Stray Kids, like Sungmin and IN are like 6 months apart or something. It's like not anything, and you're like, okay, but they're still like IN. Oh.
Yeah,
it's kind of what, and we were talking about it briefly on the last episode too. Like it's an interesting dynamic in a group because Stray Kids, Bangchan is the oldest and he's born in 97, but BTS, Jungkook is the youngest in 97, and they're completely different roles in those groups.
Yeah, they have like different vibes too.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's like when we've talked about it a little bit before, you said like if it was you, if you're like hanging out with people like 5 years older than you versus a group of people 5 years younger, you're gonna act yourself differently.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so true. Like that's why probably like I cannot picture Bangchan and Jungkook in the same space. Like I just can't. In my mind, it's just like I can't. Like a leader and like it doesn't make sense to me, even though they're literally the same. But like their vibes are so different because they're hanging out with like different aged people.
Yeah.
They have different responsibilities, right? Like
I
don't know. It's just so weird. The other one was Taemin from SHINee is 93, and so is Suga, and he's second oldest, and Taemin's youngest. And I was like, that's so weird because I also see Taemin as like a mature person, but then seeing them together, I was like, that's so weird. Like,
it's an interesting thing, and it's something to delve into really about the Korean culture. From it seems, again, I'm no expert on the Korean culture, but from what it seems like from all this content we're watching recently is that the honorifics and talking to someone with a certain level of respect is how it's done. So you've even seen in really early content with Bangchan, like he was like super strict with them apparently. Like
I know, that's so funny when like I think Han tells the story when he's like, I was like, hey, what's up, Chris? And he was like, you need to address me as Hyung, or what was it called? What is it?
Hyung, I think.
Hyung, yeah.
It's like
so you need to address me as Hyung, which is older brother, technically. Like I think it translates to older brother.
Yeah,
and he's like, you need to address me this way. Like Okay, damn.
And like,
I could never. Like, if as imagine I said that to you. Like,
no, I mean it wouldn't, because it. I
I
have to
know.
say it, call you Hyung, by the way.
I know. If I was like, I'm only like a year older, but still, like, if I was like, you
You're.
need to address me as.
I'd be like, okay.
You need to address me as Nuna.
I would love to. I would love to remind you of your age. You're older than me. Okay?
I actually think it's so cute though. Like, I
do
wish we had something cute like that.
I know. That's the stuff. Like, okay, yeah. There's certain side of it that's probably a little much, and there's probably I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not in that culture or anything, but I can imagine like a power structure, or like someone could like power trip by doing that. But I do love the cute, like,
I've definitely seen in content people are like older people will be like, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But then I can imagine the other side where there probably is older people. Like, obviously Bang Chan said he's not like that anymore. They've all said that he's not like that anymore. That was like an early days thing, and I think it was a pressure thing, like from his label. But anyway, I bet there are people that are like, no, you need to address me this way.
Absolutely. I would assume so.
I like, there's sometimes if you watch content where they do it as a joke, they'll be like, one of the ending things you can add is like YA to a name, and it's just like a cute, like informal, like we're friends thing. And I'll see them do it like as a joke. They'll be like, whatever, y'all. And then the person who's older will be like, excuse me. like they're not really mad, but they're just like, did you really just do that?
Well, actually, yeah, that reminds me of a funny clip from a tease where Hongjoon, Singhwa, and San, and then San all of a sudden just says Hyung, and they both stare at him immediately because they're, I guess, and they're like, why are you even like making it like that we're older than you, which they are, but they're like, excuse me. So I mean, I know it's like, it's weird that
I've seen the same thing with ATs where Jungho was doing that to Hongjoon. He was like, Hongjoon-ya. And they were like, bitch, what?
Oh. That's so funny, yeah.
But he's like just being like, just purposely being like annoying.
Well,
they're like, excuse me?
Speaking of maknae, he's the funniest maknae to me, Jungho.
Oh, yeah, he's the best.
He really like plays it up, and he really tries to get under their skin. He's like, "What? I'm the
he's
youngest."
so funny.
I love him. He's so funny. Like, what? What, you're gonna beat up on the youngest? Basically, he really tries to push their buttons, and it's so funny to me. But like, yeah, I think the younger culture is starting to get away from it, maybe as much, but it's still there. And like you said with with Bang Chan, it's interesting because he grew up in Australia, right? So it probably wasn't as ingrained for him, I would assume. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's probably just like, I don't want to do this anymore. That's what I'm.
Yeah, like I assume he probably went there at first and they were like, this is how it works here. And he's like, you have to do it the right way. Yeah. And then later, obviously they're like friends in real life, right? And like at some point you're just like, whatever, bro. Like just, they don't really call him like Chris or whatever still. They still like refer to him with the right honorifics most of the time. But
yeah.
It's funny because when you watch that content, at one point Felix is like, I never did that. Like everyone was like, yeah, he told us to address him this way. And he was like, he never told me that. But it's like they're both from like Australia, right? So he was probably just like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I know. They have like their Australian bond, I feel like. It's so interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was just like, it's an Australian vibe.
I mean,
you could get away with it.
We could go into all of it in our Stray Kids episode, but like, there's some interesting dynamics within the group. But save that for another episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hyung is interesting though, because from the research I did, you're not supposed to use it with someone you work with. So it's interesting that it is used so heavily in K-pop, but it's supposed to be someone that is older than you, that you really respect. Like you say, it means older brother. From what what do I know? But
I guess like, because they do try to like sort of market them as like families also.
Yeah.
Like this is our family group kind of thing. So like it does kind of make sense to me that even if you wouldn't normally use that professionally, like there's like a blurred line somewhere in the middle with groups where they're like a professional group, but also like, and again, just boys, you know?
Just the boys. But I'm sure, again, maybe that's how it was before. Maybe now Hyung is just used way more.
Yeah, maybe it's just popular there.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, you're my older pal. I'll call you Hyung. Well, like, the first exposure I had to Hyung was, before my whole K-pop thing, I was really into reading, Korean webtoons. So, that's where I was first exposed, but there was a whole, like, I knew it meant something like in, because there was a whole plot line in one of these webtoons I was reading where like the guy really wanted this other guy to call him Hyung, like he was like really wanting that from him. So like yeah, it really means something. It seems to carry weight anyway. So
Yeah.
it's very fast. Again, I know, like why don't we get anything like that in North America?
No.
It's like so annoying. It's just like our language is so boring on some levels.
Yeah, I know. But then like if you really think about it, it's like you wouldn't really walk around and be like, "What's up, older brother?"
Why
Like
not?
you wouldn't really
No,
say
what up,
that.
bro? Whatever.
I mean, bro, yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I like one of the other ending things I recently figured out was SSI. We add SSI at the end.
She.
It's like basically saying Mister, but like
Mm,
people use it within the groups. It's more like, what did I say? What was it? It was like it's a polite way to talk to somebody,
yeah.
and it's like sort of used like a Mr. Mrs. kind of thing, but there's no like level to it. So like if
Mm,
you're in the same like social class,
yeah.
you can just use it freely, and like older, younger, whatever. But like that's so weird. Like I've discovered it because they do it a lot in BTS,
Oh,
and
okay.
they're like kept calling him Jimin Shi, and I was like, so you're basically calling him Mr. Jimin? Like, isn't that so strange? I would never say that to my friends.
It's very I find it, again, I'm someone that I find language very fascinating, and I love studying
Yeah.
language, so I.
Well, yeah, like it's so interesting. Like I could never think of saying it like that, but like when you hear them say it, you're like, oh, cute.
It's cute, and
Like,
then
you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
like
like obviously it means something in their culture. Like it's proper. You're supposed to be this way. So like I guess it just seems so different to me.
and Japanese is kind of close to that too. Like you
Yeah, for
address someone
sure.
like Chan, it's like Oni, like Oni Chan, like the
Oni-chan.
brother, but it's like not just Korean too. I don't know. I find that all
Yeah.
quite fascinating, but I know I wish there was, yeah, and then but that's the other side. Like it kind of goes in with another term here, Korea boo, where it's like
Oh yeah.
it, like if someone in real life in North America anyway came up to me and like you said, oh, Nikki Shi, I'd be like, you gotta stop. We're not,
Yeah.
like, unless if you were like joking, but like if you were like seriously came up to me and was like saying that, I'd be like, okay, we need to talk. I don't want to shame anyone that does that
Yeah,
necessarily,
like I
but
mean,
for me it
yeah.
just, I don't know, it's like it's a little
I
much.
think you can have like fun with it and you can like play around and stuff, but like when you make it like your whole like the term Koreaboo or whatever is like similar to like a weeboo
Yeah.
or whatever for like anime and Japanese culture, which is just like someone that's like way too intense about it
Yeah.
and like too serious.
Too
And it's like
serious. That's it.
some of the stuff I was seeing is like there'll literally be people like from America who are like I'm Korean.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
you're not though. Just because you like it doesn't like you're not.
Yeah,
Like
that's an
they'll only
issue.
eat Korean food. They'll learn Korean language. You're not though. Like
Yeah,
you do
no.
know you are still like an American person.
That's a
You
little
can't just
rough.
choose. Like I saw like some crazy stuff like that. And like there's another term for a similar kind of vibe, but like where you're just like way too obsessed with specific groups or idols.
Yeah.
Sasang, I think. Sasang.
Sasang, yeah.
It's basically like a psycho like stalker fan. Which like
Yikes.
just like people that are just like too
Too much, too
into.
much. Well, that's why really want to look in again to the psychological aspect, because there's just something there. Like there's an unhealthy obsession with it where you go,
Yeah.
okay, whoa, you can be into something, you can be really into something and have fun with it, but you don't cross that line. You don't cross that line of like I remember I saw this video of Jin from BTS came back after the army, out of the army.
Oh yeah, that's so
Yeah,
gross.
yeah. So I don't know why they had this kind of event, but they had 100 fans was able to come hug Jin, and that happened. Two of those girls that came, women, girl, whatever, came up and kissed him on the neck, like
Ugh,
unsolicited. Yeah. And I in the video
so
I
gross.
watched, like apparently they were both arrested, so good. But like, hello, why? How do you think that's okay? Just be like, oh, but like I love you. It's like, okay, well he doesn't freaking know who you are. You can't just kiss somebody that they don't even
Yeah.
know you at all.
Yeah, this is disturbing.
So yeah, you might call that person a sasang. But yeah, I think that's a good distinction of the Korea Boo, is that they're serious about it. Like we know we've all
Yeah.
been to like an anime convention where someone goes, "Or do you like
Oh god.
Like, you go, oh,
Sorry.
My Hero Academia, and they say it in the Japanese name, like, seriously.
Well,
And you
actually,
go,
it's
actually,
Boku no Hero Academia.
you go, oh my god.
Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, and you're like, okay. You know, you go, all right, let's take it down a
I'm
notch.
just here to have a good time.
I just want to get some merch, please, okay?
Yeah.
Another interesting aspect, though, of a group, I don't think it's as big now as it used to be back in the early days, but it's the visual. It's, like, such an interesting concept, because, like, any North American band that we've liked, there you would never hear, like, oh, there's a visual.
Yeah, we don't, like, in Western culture, we don't say, like, that's the hot guy.
Yeah.
Like, officially, on the documents, you're the hot guy. And, like, even in the group, that person's like, I'm the hot guy. Like, it's not really, like, a set role in, like, Western
No.
music and groups and stuff like that, but, like, it seems to be a thing there. But I do think that it's, like, less of an official thing, it seems like. And, like, I think it's because they're like, expanding so much, and, like, these other cultures are just like,
Yeah.
that's weird.
So, from the little research I did about it, was that way back when K-pop was, like, first starting, like, first gen or whatever, they needed to have a visual role, so it was very distinct, like, to bring people in. So they would have singers,
Yeah.
they would have dancers, and then they're like, okay, we need somebody to put the face on this so that we can bring members in. But now,
Yeah, these uggos.
yeah, the implication anyway. I haven't looked up any first gen K-pop bands, so I wouldn't even know if, like, I doubt they're, like, hideous. Like, any band I look at,
I doubt it.
especially now, like, any band I look at, I'm like, I've not seen one ugly idol. No, like, sure, there might be guys that I'm like, oh yeah, like, yeah, I can tell you're attractive, but you're not my type or whatever. But, like,
Yeah.
no, like, truly, like, yikes, I don't want to look at you. Or whatever. I don't know. It's like.
But I also see, like, when you see, like, breakdowns of groups, it's like everyone has the word visual. It's like they're all visuals.
I know.
So, like, what's the point of the term? Because
especially now, yeah.
you're all visuals. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I saw when I was looking at BTS. Like, literally, like, 5 of them have the term visual there, and I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah, I know.
what's the point?
Or, like, look at a band like ATEEZ too. Like, not one of them would
Yeah.
not be considered a visual of some capacity. But again,
I don't even know who the visual of.
I think
guess
it's Singwa.
Yeah, I was saying. Oh.
No, yeah, I think it's...
We both picked someone else.
I think it. I mean, that's what I would assume. Again, I've seen all the memes too, be like, "There's not a visual hole in this group." It's like, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Stray Kids is very similar too. I'm like, there's no one that's like, if you're like, that's the visual, you'd be like, oh yeah, you're BTS. It doesn't. Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Silly thing.
I think it just doesn't make sense to, like,
us. Anyway.
to, like, Western culture. So I don't know if it's, like, as popular anymore.
Yeah, especially, like, I don't know. I'm someone that I think you're kind of similar, where I am also, like, a personality person. Like, if I'm gonna be attracted to you, you also have to have a personality. So, like, even if you were a visual, I'm like, well, I don't really care. So, like, maybe that's the difference too. I don't know, but that's the visual. Well, yeah. In case we didn't actually break it down, it just means, like, the most attractive member. Or I think it also. Yeah, most attractive member, and I think it was, like, they would, like, style the visual very distinctly out of the others as well. So
yeah.
But yes, here I'm on Kpop profiles. Singwa is a visual. He's also labeled as a rapper. It's interesting. I guess he does.
I mean, yeah, he does. He's an all-rounder.
Yeah, he's an ace. That's another term. As it probably stands to reason, ace just literally means they can do anything in the whole group. Like, normally there's, like, a rapper. Like, I would say, yeah, like, Mingy, he's not the best singer, but he can rap and he can dance, but he can't do everything. But now there's some members that literally can do everything. Like, Hyungs can do everything. Sewon can do everything. It's insane.
I guess some other just kind of, like, loose terms that we kind of are learning is, like, a comeback, which is not what we would think it would be in Western culture. Would be, like, someone coming back to music after a long time. But a comeback for K-pop is, like, literally every album drop.
I was so surprised by that term, because same. I was like, comeback? Oh, who's coming back? Like, I was like, oh, no, like, you mean the Stray Kids are coming back with this album after a 2-month album, like
Yeah, I
2
think
months
that's when
ago.
that was when I heard it first, and they were like, Stray Kids come back, and I was like, from where?
Yeah, where did they
Like,
go?
they're
Yeah,
here. They've been here.
they've been here. But yeah, again, like you said, for Western culture, it's very different because it seems like for K-pop, they like each album, each single, it has their own concept. So it's like,
Yeah.
and normally from what we've seen, they change their looks too. Like they'll like dye their hair, they'll do a new style or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
so I guess that's why, like, that's what kind of what I was gathering when I was looking it up is like, it's basically called that because there's usually a new concept, which usually has like a whole new theme or whatever. So, like, you are kind of like coming back as like a new person, new
yeah,
group,
new
sort of like in a
vibe.
way, like if you wanted to try to fit it into like a Western definition, it's sort of like that vibe. But yeah, like, concept is just like, I mean, it's another term that they use a lot, but it's basically just like a new theme
Well, you
or a
can
new sound or something like that.
you see it a bit in certain groups. Like the first group that comes to mind is like MCR, My Chemical Romance in North America. Like they kind of did ish. Like they had their own look, but like I'm thinking like the Black Parade, like that
Yeah, like
comeback. Whoa.
they had concepts as well, like
Yeah.
different concepts for their
As
albums.
we would call it comeback. Like Black Parade comes on and Gerard Way has blonde hair. Hello.
I know that. What a crazy drop.
That was. But again, usually the turnaround between albums are like years in
Yeah.
but like K-pop is bonkers. Like you got
I mean, we had 2 Stray Kids comebacks already
oh, yeah, and we've only been
since
listening
November.
Yeah, we've only been listening for 4 months, and apparently there are 2 more albums in 2025. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand. But I mean, hopefully, I think this gave a brief, quote unquote, brief breakdown.
Yeah, I think like we'll just have to do some more terms and things like that we're learning. We'll sprinkle it throughout the episode. We had like so much more words that we've learned, but we keep it for later. Keep it a secret.
Well, yeah, it's
Secret.
it's a little secret. I mean, it's gonna come up naturally throughout our other discussions, but that about does it for episode 2.
I mean, hopefully that gave you some insight into the most popular words associated that we can now use freely within our podcast. I will just assume that you listen to this and you know exactly what we're talking about.
Always refer back to episode 2. It'll be a pinned
Yeah.
episode.
Well, thanks for joining us for another episode. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
Bye.